I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking for in the reads this week. All I know is last week was pretty rough, going through a lot of stuff. This week's also looking like it's going to be pretty rough. Next week, I have in laws coming. That'll be exciting. A nice break from my usual routine. This week, I just want to read books that make me laugh, allow me to escape into another world so I could just rest and recuperate in my downtime because my day to day life can be stressful. Even if you're like me and you have your dream job and you love what you do and you have a fulfilling family life, some weeks are better than others. Sometimes you just want to put your nose in a book, disassociate from the world, go into an imaginary land, and have a good time. So this week I'm reading some humorous, scary stories. Volume 3 of Tales from the Gas Station by Jack Townsend. I started reading this series several months ago, and I'm loving it, even if I'm not quite sure what is happening. And Brian from BellTube released a video breaking down all of his favorite lit RPGs. I'm going to pick a lit RPG from that list. I'll link that video in the description below. Hopefully, this is a good week of reading. Welcome to the reading vlog. What are my initial thoughts about One More Last Time? Book 1 in The Good Guys. It's silly, it's ridiculous, it's epic, gratuitous violence, great humor, a main character that is very easy to root for. And I love lit RPGs. I love knowing exactly how how things are going to progress. I like knowing exactly what the stats are for our main character, how strong or how intelligent or how charismatic he is in comparison to the people around him. I love the whole idea of being a real person in a world of NPCs, where the NPCs don't really know that, so they think you're some kind of weirdo. I love that. I grew up playing video games, and I always loved these epic fantasy open world games. I love just exploring. And our main character, he played those games too, so he's doing a lot of the same things that I would do. He's thinking about what type of build he's going to make for his character. He's trying to maximize things. And yes, I will say sometimes the mechanics of lit RPGs may get a little old. Maybe it's not the most creative, it's not the most intellectually stimulating, and I can see why it's not for everybody. But this lifelong gamer is really loving One More Last Time. I love our super protagonist. I love the whole, you know, you were a bad guy before, but now you're in a new world trying to turn over a new leaf in this new environment where people have no idea who you are. So you could really just choose to be a new person at that moment. And that's what our protagonist is doing. I love it. Thursday. I'm 25% through Tales from the Gas Station Volume 3. This series, I'm not exactly sure what I think about it. I'm enjoying the journey, but I'm confused as heck. The prose is very approachable. The writing style is very easy to understand, very simplistic, sometimes I dare say amateurish in a good way, an understandable Gen Z 21st century type of way. That being said, it is still one of the most complicated series, one of the most hard to follow stories I've ever followed. The narrative is convoluted. Characters are introduced only to be reintroduced much later. A lot of things are brought to the attention of the reader that aren't relevant to the plot, or at least it seems like they're not relevant to the plot. The author is drowning the reader in so many details, so many jokes, so many ongoing gags that it's hard to tell what is significant for the plot and what is just significant because it's funny and the author likes telling this type of joke. Honestly, it's a little exhausting to read. It's very hard to binge, but if you don't binge these books, you don't read them quite quickly, you're going to forget necessary details. And then when the plot twists do happen, you'll be more caught off guard and it'll be much harder to follow. So I'm kind of feeling strong armed into finishing this series much faster than is comfortable for me. Because every time I finish an installment of this series, I'm more and more confused. I'm growing to love the characters more. I love Jack and Jerry. They're really cool. A great dynamic duo. But I besides that, the story grows more convoluted, more hard to follow. Not only is it hard to follow because of the constant, details the author's drowning you in, and how sometimes a chapter will start off in the middle of an occurrence, in the middle of an event, and then the author will then describe how they got there. And also, that's without even taking into account how Jack, our narrator and protagonist and main point of view character, is an unreliable narrator. And it's stated like that in the first installment because Jack is suffering from a terminal illness that is affecting his mental faculties. And he's growing more and more sick with each installment of this series. So I'm not sure if the setting is growing more crazy and more strange, or if Jack's brain chemistry is just breaking down. I'm not quite sure. It's a mixture of both, but it makes it very hard to know as the reader what to trust, what to pay attention to. I'm talking about like I'm not enjoying it. I am enjoying it, but it's a frustrating enjoyment. It's a very toxic relationship I'm kind of having with this book series. But I'm going to be finishing it before January 2025 is done. I promise you that. I need to see where this story ends. I need to see what happens to Jack. I need to see what all these mysteries lead to. Because every time I finish a book in this series, I have more and more questions. Both of the books I'm reading are making me laugh. They're very humorous, very lighthearted, even if they have tense moments or creepy occurrences. It's generally just a good time. Here are some quotes from both of my works. I'll start with Tales from the Gas Station quotes that I've highlighted. I swear to the dark god, Jerry, if you're about to tell me that there's a dead body in the trunk of your car, I'm going to lose it. Relax, he said. What I have to tell you is way more interesting than that. It's a world out there, partner. You need to watch the edges or you might fall into the gloom. Being dead is a lot like dreaming. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but most of the time, you don't even realize you're doing it. And here are some quotes from One More Last Time that are making me laugh. It's a pointless place, a place of death and nonsense. Sounds like Florida. For a heartbeat, there was this feeling inside me that I committed this great act of violence, and I can never be the same. What had I done? Nah, I'd done worse before. And given Voldrani seemed to be predicated on savagery and violence, I'd likely do worse in the future. I just hoped that, with a second chance, maybe I could put some of those skills to use being a savior. Finally, be the good guy. So, One More Last Time is much easier to read, but Tales from the Gas Station is a lot more intellectually stimulating. I'm definitely going to be finishing One More Last Time, but if I'm being honest, I'm having a hard time trudging through this volume of Tales from the Gas Station because it's so hard. It's so hard. Saturday. I can't do it. I can't finish Tales from the Gas Station Volume 3 this week. I really feel like the characters are acting a little dumber than usual, and I only have about 180 pages left. I definitely could finish it tomorrow, but I have guests coming, and I'm not sure if I'm enjoying this book enough to read it while I have guests at my home. Tales from the Gas Station is a very frustrating series because sometimes the writer is kind of brilliant. There are plot twists I legitimately do not see coming. Really funny laugh out loud moments. Really creepy, unsettling things are happening. And there's this giant Gordian knot at the center of the plot that I just need to see how the author unties this narrative. But Volume 3 is by far my least favorite installment so far. Volume 1 was very easy. Volume 2, the narrator seems a little bit more unreliable, or perhaps the writing's just a little bit sloppier. Volume 2 did not enjoy as much, but a lot more promise. A lot more interesting things are happening. Volume 3, I've read over right under 200 pages. It's like a 360 page book. And I'm still not invested. And if you're in the third book of a series and you've read the previous two, you should be invested for book 3. So I won't be finishing Tales from the Gas Station Part 3 this week. I'll be finishing it mid next week. I'm sure the read could still be salvaged for me, but I'm just lacking motivation. The hardest thing for this BookTube channel is getting motivation to film videos, because that's the hardest part. You film a video, you have the script, you have your notes, you write it out, you edit the video. It takes a lot of time. But Tales from the Gas Station Volume 3 is such a frustrating, difficult read that I think tomorrow I'll be able to film an hour. I'll spend over an hour filming this one video where I'm breaking down all of the series that I'm currently like reading, like in order from highest priority to lowest priority. And that's a lot of series. That's going to be a lot of video I'm going to have to film. But I'm still more excited and interested in doing that tomorrow. So I will be finishing One More Last Time, the first installment in The Good Guys, which I am actually really enjoying, and I'll film a long video, and I'll make some more progress through Tales from the Gas Station Volume 3. But I will not be finishing it. Sometimes I set goals for the reading week, and I don't achieve them, and that is okay, because 2024 is almost done, and I'm ahead of schedule. I'm going to make plans for next year because that's going to be a very big year for the channel. And then in 4 or 5 days, I'll be finished with Volume 3 of Tales from the Gas Station. Sunday. I finished One More Last Time, and I loved it. I'm really liking lit RPGs. I like overpowered protagonists. I love the game mechanics. I love having a numerical score for our character's intelligence, strength, charisma, what have you. Because I'm a dad, and I'm 29, and I have a job, and I commute. I don't play video games a lot. That's why I read, because I could always put down the book, do what I have to do in my real life, and then go back to the book, pick up right where I left off. And lit RPGs, they're so good for being they're very good books for palate cleansers. They're very good books just to keep your reading muscles going, keeping them primed and ready. They're good warm-up books, prepare for more epic, more intellectually stimulating reads. They're good fun. One More Last Time, the first installment in The Good Guys, which is a 15-book series with no end in sight from my understanding. And if all of them are of this quality, I think I will really enjoy myself with this author. I will enjoy myself with this journey, with this world, because even though our main character is overpowered, there's still a lot more room to grow. And that's exciting. I don't like reading ongoing series usually, because I like to know that there's an end in sight. But that's only if the series is super serious. You know, like if it's more lighthearted, if it's funny, if I'm just going to continue on with this journey because I enjoy what's happening, I don't care about the ending, I don't mind the series dragging on a little bit. If this series ends in 10 plus years, that's fine. If it ends next year, that's fine. But, serious series, I want them to be complete. So The Good Guys, Brian Bell, I'm going to trust his opinion when it comes to lit RPGs, because the one book I've read off his recommendation, pretty damn good. So that's exciting. I'll be finishing Tales from the Gas Station Volume 3 next week, and I'm also picking up a new book from our book club, the Raven's Tower. It's considered to be a very good standalone fantasy work. I don't know much about it. We voted on it, and we'll see how I like it next week. Lit RPGs are the way to go. That's one of the main lessons I learned for 2024. Thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you guys next time.